So what I'm encouraging writers to do is to get out and do readings out in the real world. And take your flip video camera or whatever you've got and shoot some short video of yourself doing it. Send it to me, and I'll put it on my blog. I'll put it on Guerrilla Reads.
Okay.
I think it's a great way for, I know other writers who've appeared on Guerrilla Reads have used that and embedded those videos into other sites that they've done to promote their work elsewhere. It's just, and you know, YouTube, something catches, it's because it's embeddable in other sites, you know, you can share it with other people, you can invite other people. You know, I'm not looking for ownership, I'm looking to promote. And I'm looking to help writers to use the internet and use video. One of the, I don't know, sometimes I find it very sad things is that people will watch a 2-minute video where they won't read a paragraph online. So let's take advantage of that as writers. We've got great work that we're doing. We've got, the words are there. Let's get out there and take advantage of the video opportunities that the internet gives us.
And I think there's just so many new things on the horizon. I mean, there's the possibility of now hybrid books, where books that will have video links built into them. So you'll be on your iPad and you'll be reading, and then maybe you'll click something and you'll watch something. I mean, that's like all of this is happening now. So this could be the beginning of that, you know, something a little more hybrid, something, but it's kind of, yeah, I mean, I wish we could all predict the future and say, you know, this exactly is going to happen. But
I brought some statistics with me, and they're book sale in America statistics from the Association of American Publishers. And the e-books, it's what's really fascinating, and probably obvious, is that, for example, in 2002, e-books accounted for $7 million in sales of the industry, of a $22 billion industry. And over the last 7 years, and it now accounts for $313 million in sales. And from just last year to this year, the increase in ebook sales is 176%, many times more than any other increase of kinds of books. You know, so obviously, and it's for the first time also, ebooks surpassed audiobooks in sales last year. You know, interesting stuff.
You know, maybe it's a generational thing. I'm hanging on every word with all this social media stuff. It's really fascinating me. But one thing, one thing no one has said, you know, I think it was 1989 when the first edition of Permanent Partners was published. It subsequently sold at 60,000 copies. And Betty crisscrossed the country from Hamlet to Village to New York to Boston from inside her office on the radio. Is there such a thing as radio? I mean, listen to that. Radio?
There's been so much consolidation in the radio industry that there aren't the outlets that there used to be, and it's just a continually shrinking market. That said, there's a lot of opportunities for podcasting and doing interviews online and posting audio files online. And what radio shows there are that are devoted to books and literature. Personally, I'm such a huge fan of radio. I love radio. I think, and Ira Glass has said that radio is one of the most literary outlets there is. I mean, it really is all about the words. So I think that to the degree that an author can create their own podcasts, get online and find out who's podcasting about books, and contact them and say, hey, would you like some content for your show? It's the same with the bloggers. The podcasters are looking for content as well, and you might be able to, set something up via phone to do interviews with podcasters. And then also, you know, search around and find where the radio shows are that are still out there that are doing literary stuff. Podcasting is interesting. There's like really hardcore podcasting communities and of people who all hang out and, you know, text each other about podcasting and are really into their podcasting, are really into the equipment. And there are websites that are devoted entirely to helping authors get their their podcasted books, the audio versions of their books online, where you, as a listener, if you want to listen to books, you can go to that site and go search by whatever genres you're interested in. So there is a huge, it's actually an enormous subculture out there. The site that I've been looking at most recently is Podio Books, P-O-D-I-O Books, and they actually do quality checks. They don't check the content. They're like, if you say it's good enough to go, it's good. So it is kind of a self-publishing outlet, but they do quality checks, because having been podcasting for a while, I can certainly tell you there's a lot of garbage out there as well that you wouldn't want to spend 5 minutes listening to, just in terms of sound quality and things like that. But whether the degree to which that subculture of people has connected with kind of, folks who don't ordinarily sit around and listen to the internet radio, that's a different story. But depending on who your readers are, there may be many of them hanging out on audio podcasting sites.
For the panel, is there any real difference between the future of career publishing and the future of the rest of the publishing?
I would say yes. Yes, definitely. It's more accessible. And when the conflict between, or not conflict, but the difference between evolution and revolution, I would actually agree with Tony and say that it's a revolution, because what we're doing is we're saying, and the only thing that's the commonality is saying, okay, you people in the Emerald City have had the control over everything, like you said, with the white male and presumably straight, and now we have so much more accessibility, and that's where the revolution is. We're not standing by and saying, okay, I can't get an agent and no publisher wants to pick me up. You have choices now.
I see. So we're kind of on our own.
Yeah, yes, but everybody else is too. Well, not everybody, but many other people are too. And there are so many different niches. And that was the main thing that I ran into, which was, I'm sorry, your story is about a gay teenager. You're a gay man. You've never been published before, not even an article. So, why should I even answer your query letter? And so we all have options now, and that's where the revolution is.
So there's more freedom.
A lot.
If we choose to write for our own communities, we do have a more clearly defined niche that I see with some of my heterosexual students who, the worst thing a student can say to me is, I'm writing for everybody. There is no everybody, I tell them. But if you don't, the more clearly you can define your audience, the more clearly you can find and speak to them.
So are you saying that is it harder for LGBT people?
No, I think that's actually a slight advantage.
Well, except, what she just described, somebody who had never written anything, prior to being published. It makes me think of the story of the woman who wrote the Twilight series. She had never written anything. But again, I think there's a distinction to be made with what she wrote and who her potential audience was. And it was picked up by publisher. So again, I think, and it makes me think about what you were saying. Your audience, or your potential audience, it's narrow.
Very narrow.
And I think that's an issue. But if you're obviously going to write what you want to write, what you're passionate about. But I think there just has to be an acknowledgement that your audience might be smaller.
Except look at Elin Harris. He was a New York Times bestseller.
Yeah, but Elin had the first book out for 3 years before it even got picked up.
Okay, sure, but look at the end result. So who's buying those books? The audience is there.
Yeah, that's true.